Okay, so welcome to Crafty Doctor's YouTube channel, and this video is a review on the snappily named MSI MAG271Cqr. This is new from MSI for 2019, and that has some really good features that will please the Xbox One X users out there, as well as the PC users. Running at 2K, which basically means it's running at 2560 by 1440. This looks like it's going to be a pretty outstanding monitor. However, there are some issues with this screen, especially if you are an Apex player. There are certain things that you can look out for if you are thinking about buying this monitor, and I will go into detail at the end of this video on how you can check this monitor for this particular fault and what it needs to be running, which firmware it needs to be running, and how to check for that if you are thinking about purchasing this particular monitor from MSI. One last thing I'd like to add, I am not affiliated with MSI in any way. Went out and purchased this monitor for this particular review and for my own use. I did contact MSI via email to see if they would send me a sample unit to try for this particular video, but they did not respond back to my email. So I was after the monitor anyway, so I purchased the MSI MAG271Cqr for my own personal use and also to do this review. Okay, so let's get started. So looking at the spec, this is a 27-inch monitor with a curvature of 1800R radius. Panel type is VA, has a maximum resolution of 2560 by 1440, which can run at 144 Hz. The aspect ratio is 16:9 with a typical brightness in nits of 400. Contrast ratio is 3000:1 with a refresh rate of 144 Hz. The response time is 1 millisecond MPRT, which is moving picture response time. The actual monitor itself has 2 HDMIs and 1 display port. It also has a USB on the back, one that controls the MSI software. It's also got the headphone, digital audio output, and 2 standard USB to Type A's on the underside of the monitor. All the other stuff is pretty standard across this type of monitor, apart from maybe the LED control, which is the Mystic Light LEDs on the rear of the screen, which is a set of RGB LEDs which you can change in the software that MSI provide for your PC. Okay, so next let's have a look at the resolutions for this monitor. The MSI MAG271Cqr has the pretty standard stuff in the VGA and SVGA modes. But for all you Xbox One X users out there, you can see that the MAG271Cqr supports 2560 x 1440 at 120 Hz. This is especially important for Xbox One X users because Microsoft have recently updated the Xbox One X to support this resolution. And obviously the Xbox One X outputs on HDMI, so the monitor needs to be capable of accepting 2560 by 1440 with 120 Hz refresh on the HDMI. So I'll be testing this a bit later on in the video to make sure it all works as we expect it to. Oh, flipping the monitor over, let's have a look at what we've got on the connections. And we have the power supply on the left hand side, a 3-pin, so no power block needed for that. We have 2 HDMIs, we've got 1 single display port, we've got 2 Type A USBs, and we've got 1 Type B, that's for sending the signal back from the monitor down to your PC so you can use the MSI software. And we've also got a digital audio output for your headphones, and just one of them. Okay, so I'll get into the stand. You can adjust this in height by, it's quite a smooth sliding action just on the stand like that. It also tilts to give you the change of angle. There's just no movement, lateral movement on the side to side. So you can go height adjustable, and you can also do the tilt action. There's also the Navi key on the back left there, where it's on the right hand side when you turn the monitor the right way around. And you just stick your right hand around that and adjust the menus through there. There is also a set of RGB lights on the back, which is just, I'm pointing out there, that's a strip of lights. I think really, if you're a streamer and you've got the camera sat behind, I think that's the only time that these will be any good. I've just switched them on the PC on now so you can see them. It is controlled via the USB, the Type B port on the back, so you can adjust it in the MSI software to do different things. You have it pulsing, different colours, a static colour. Again, like I said, I think it's more of a gimmick really, unless you're an actual streamer and you have them all lit up for your stream and the camera's sat behind the monitor looking back at you. So, flipping the monitor around and getting to the front side, we shall have a look at the Navi menu. This is accessed by putting your hand on the right hand side, just as I indicated when I was showing the red little toggle key. So you put your hand around the right hand side, you can click it in to bring the menu up, or there is a quick access menu by pushing up, or left, or right, or down, and you can adjust what these open through the main menu, which we're looking at now. You can get a more detailed menu, which again I'll show you in a second, which is on the actual PC through the actual MSI software, and that allows you to change the lights instead of the single menu which was showing you there, which you actually switch the lights on and off. The one on software on your Windows 10 machine or Windows machine will allow you to control how the lights look and what colour they are. So just quickly looking at the menus here, I will zoom in on this. It might just be a bit blurred, but I'll zoom in. You can see that I'm in the gaming menu. You have in here different game modes, black tuner, response time, and they're all listed at the top of the actual menu as you adjust these different things. Zero latency, refresh rate on or off, and the refresh rate actually shows you what the screen is refreshing at the current time. So you see that it's gone into the top left hand corner. I'll just move it into the top right hand corner through this menu. You can go into the menu and change where the location is. So if I go to the top right, and it only comes on when you come back out the menu. So I'll change it to the top right so you can just see it. It's obviously showing at 144 in a minute, which is there, you can see now. We're not in a game or anything, but if you've got a game that's compatible, it will adjust that as you're playing the game, and I'll quickly show you one of the games with that running. I'm not going to go into too much detail with these menus, otherwise the video will be super long. So we'll get to the gameplay now. I'll get an Xbox One X and look at the settings so you can see when it's plugged into the HDMI what settings are available to you through the Mag271Cqr monitor and its menu screen. I'll also do it on the PC, so I'll connect the PC up and put a game on there, put Apex Legends on there and show you it running through the display port. And I'll also show you right at the end just the problems and the things to look out for if you are looking at buying this Mag271Cqr, because it does have issues in one of the preset menus, which I'll show you at the end. Okay, so we're all connected up with the Xbox One X, and I have connected it into the HDMI 2. I've got nothing connected on HDMI 1, so if I just push the Navi key in the bottom right hand corner, you can see that I'm connected on HDMI 2. The display port is where my PC normally sits, so if I flick it down to display port, the DP, nothing will show because the PC is not switched on. Just push the key again, just get back to HDMI, and now we're back up and running with the Xbox One X. Now before I connected it to this monitor, this particular console was connected to a 1080p screen, so you can see in the top right hand corner it says 60 hertz at the moment. So obviously I'm trying to get that to 120 with the new settings that we're going to try now on this MSI monitor. The Mag271Cqr, like I said right at the beginning, it's got plenty of settings in there, lots of different frequency range. So anyway, let's get into the settings of the Xbox and see what we can enable. So display and sound, video output. You see there it's currently on 1080p, so let's at 60 hertz at the top right hand corner. So we'll just try and select the refresh rate. No, we'll do the resolution first. Let's go for the 1440p. Let's see if we get that. So yeah, it's okay with that. So we're at 1440p on the Xbox One X. Now we need to do the refresh rate. So hopefully we should be able to select the 120 hertz option. And it looks like, yeah, so we're okay again for the 120. So we're now running at 1440p, 120 hertz on an Xbox One X. And we're going to go to the video modes now. And we're going to allow variable refresh rate and see what it does. So that's VRR. So it likes that as well. So that's pretty much like the FreeSync side of it. Now the 50 hertz, I don't think it'll let me enable that because at this resolution, this screen does not support the 50 hertz. So if we drop down to one of the lower resolutions, then it will allow us to tick that box basically to allow 50 hertz. Looking at what resolutions the 50 hertz was enabled for, I think it's for the SD TV, so 720 at 576, You can get 50 Hertz. So there's different ranges. So it does have the option to display 50 Hertz. Again, so if I try and flick this back now to 1440 and see if it sticks with a 50 Hertz option. So yeah, so it's just a glitch really. So it's now enabled, so we can allow 50 Hertz if we want. Obviously we want it to be higher, we want it to 120 or 60. And in the VRR, which is the FreeSync side of it, is all working fine via the HDMI on this MSI MAG271Cqr. Top right hand corner is showing 120 Hertz. That should be flickering in theory, so although it's showing, it's not a true reflection of the frame rate or the 120 Hertz that we've enabled. So okay, so I'm going to take you into the training section on Apex and show you the problems with this screen. So there's some presets built into the screen that you can select via the nav key or via the software that's on your Windows 10 PC. And basically it washes out the greens, and it's a problem. There is a firmware update that MSI can install onto the monitor. I have emailed them, but they basically want me to return the monitor. I might do yet at this stage, but I'll get down to where the different colors are in Apex, and I'll show you it's a big problem because you can't see where the ammo is or anything like that. So here we are. We're looking at the heavy ammo in Apex, which is basically a green color. And if I just go over to the energy ammo, and this is basically a fluorescent greeny yellowy color. And what these presets do, they actually wash out different colors. So as I'm flicking through, you can see that I'm flicking through different ones: RPG, RTS, racing. They're all looking okay. You can see there's a green color, a fluorescent green. But when I go to the one that I want, first person shooter, FPS, you see straight away that you can hardly tell what color that one is. That's the energy ammo. So you'll know in Apex, it's a bit of a twitch game once you're in the middle of a battle, and picking up ammo is important. Now look at the actual heavy ammo. You can't even make out that it's heavy ammo. It literally just looks grey. And again, when you're running around in the middle of a battle trying to pick up ammo, it's no use to anybody. You can get around it by putting either a user and changing your settings in there, or picking one of the other presets up. But this is one that's been set up by MSI to work with first-person shooters, and this was the first game that I tried with it. And at first I thought there was a fault with the monitor, so I contacted MSI, and they're basically telling me there's a firmware update for the monitor, and I have to send the monitor away to get it updated. So I might do that yet, I just don't know. Okay, so on to some positive points. I am connected through the HDMI, and it has what you call a screen assist or an aim assist built into the monitor. What that does, it overlays a crosshair onto your sight, so when you're running you can see exactly where your sight or your crosshair is going to be. So you see that I've enabled the red one, so that works directly in play with the Xbox One X. It's a bit of a cheat really, because it's showing you where your crosshairs are, so if you are firing from the hip, it is really good for that. So I'll just turn it off and put a different one on, so that's a different one crosshair. There's multiple different crosshairs that you can pick from. You can have red, you can have white ones, but it's a nice touch actually, and it's a good thing from the fact that it has that option to allow us players of first-person shooters to maybe try and improve our game. Okay, so moving on to the PC, and let's see how the MAG271Cqr by MSI works with your PC. So I'm just going to open up the MSI, the on-screen display app. So this program is controlled via the USB Type B, the single port that's on the back of the monitor, and you connect the other end obviously to your PC, and you can control the settings in a bit more detail than the nav key. See there, you've got the screen assistant, you can do split windows. Also you've got the Mystic light, which is the light on the back of the monitor. You can control how that looks, and in there you can have different effects. I've just got mine off because it's facing the wall, but yeah, you can do all sorts of things in here in a bit more detail, and also fine tune the monitor to how you want. You can turn your FreeSync on and off within this app. So all the options are there. Have the refresh rate, so you can have it on and showing in your top right hand corner, and with the PC, this should be varying as you're playing the game. So any compatible game, you should be able to see the variance in the refresh rate on the screen. On the Xbox, it just shows you if it's on or off, or 60 or 120. On a PC, any PC users will have seen this before in different programs where it shows the variable rate. Okay, so last but not least, let's get the PC version of Apex Legends on, and let's just see how this looks and just show you how the presets work with the display port. So I'm just going to change the refresh rate so it's in the top right hand corner. So you can see there the PC one, it varies as we're playing along, but let's get back to the colour thing that I was explaining to you. So it runs really smoothly, there's nothing at all wrong with it in that sense. So this is in one of the standard mode. I think it's in the RTS or the racing mode. We'll just have a look now and see what we're in. And also put the crosshair on. So we've got the crosshair on. We'll just face up. It's in white at the moment, so it's not very clear. Let's go for the red one. So you see that it works the same on the display port. So you can have your crosshair on the display port for when you're playing your first-person shooters. And the colours seem fine in this setting. So let's just face down to the ammo, and we'll just change it in here and pick the right menu. Well, so we're in racing at the moment, so we'll put it on first person shooter, FPS, the game mode, and you can see straight away the greens wash out. So this might work fine in other shooters. I haven't tried it in any others, I've just tried it on Apex, but you can see the yellows and the greens, you can't tell the difference. So for this particular game, where there's quite a bit difference in the ammo that you pick up, and you need to pick it up pretty quick, you need to be knowing what colour. I have like I said earlier, I have emailed MSI. I've just got to decide if I need to send it back or if I want to send it back, because I'd like to update the firmware myself, but obviously that is not an option. Again, if I just change it back to one of the other settings, I can play just as fine anyway. And all the other settings regarding the variable refresh rate and also the hertz, the 120 hertz, all seem to stick the same. Don't really matter which game mode that you're in. Okay, so lastly, how do you find out the firmware version you're running? Push the Navi key in the bottom right hand corner. Mine says FW007. As of April 2019, the most current one is FW0011. So if you're running anything below 11, you need to be asking MSI to update your monitor to the current version. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do subscribe. These videos take a long time to make. Please do hit the like button. Give us any comments below or any suggestions on how to make this video better. Please do subscribe to my channel, and you have been watching Crafty Doctor on YouTube.